We have added a couple of more models in our project. Now we have the primary key. Primary key can only be one per class or per table, but it is not required that primary key will always be an integer or that it is always an identity column. And for that, EF Core has multiple workarounds. Let's take a look at all three of those. First is the identity, and that is what we have used so far. When you specify the key attribute to an integer, this is the default option. The identity option specifies that the value will only be generated by the database when a value is first added to the database. Entity Framework Core will not implement a value generation strategy. Database providers differ in the way the values are automatically generated, like identity, GUID, and so on. You can see I also have the data annotation for identity. So we can use that data annotation, and let me show you that. So right here with key, you can always say database generated. And within that we have the database generated option dot identity. By default this applies, but if you want to explicitly specify this, you can do that. Let's say you have another scenario in which it is integer, but you do not want it to be identity. You want that your controller or your logic will provide this ID and it should be added. In that case, we will go with the second option, and this will be none. If you mark it as none, that means that it prevents value from being generated by the database automatically in these cases. The last option that we have is computed. The computed option specifies that the properties value will be generated by the database when the value is first saved and subsequently regenerated every time the value is updated. A good example for computed will be a column that saves when the record was last updated. In that you can use the SQL's getDate and store that as a computed property for that column. Now these are not that common scenarios, but I wanted you to be aware of those scenarios if in case you have to take a deeper dive in them. They can be used with both data annotations as well as Fluent API. For now, what we'll do is we'll just go back and we'll revert back the changes that we did. I just wanted to show you that those options are available if ever you are in a situation where you need them.